Hello and welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. I hope you're fine. In this episode, we look at the viability of Babu Owino Ndindi Nyoro candidature. As in, should they choose to vie come 2027, what are their chances? Do they have a fighting chance to begin with? If that is something you're keen on, stay tuned till the end of the video. And if you're watching for the first time, just take a moment, subscribe to the channel so that YouTube notifies you when we produce similar videos. Ladies and gentlemen, before we look at the viability of the said ticket, let us see whether Babu Owino and Ndindi Nyoro have certain things in common. According to public info, both Ndindi Nyoro and Babu Owino are still under 40 by the time of recording this video. Ndindi Nyoro being 39 years, with Babu Owino being 35 years. Generally, we can still classify them as youth. Both of them began their politics at the college, at the university. Ndindi Nyoro being a student leader at Kenyatta University, and Babu Owino being the chair of SONU. Their time as student leaders gave them the opportunity they needed to launch their career in politics. They are both serving their second terms. Babu Owino serving his second term at Embakasi East, while Ndindi Nyoro is serving his second term at Kiharu constituency in Murang'a. Having joined politics and being elected, both Babu Owino and Ndindi Nyoro gained popularity by being the harshest critics of the main opponents. For instance, Babu Owino would spare nothing, including insults, when he was addressing Raila's perceived enemies. You remember how he addressed Uhuru, including his mother. And so Babu Owino does not spare anything when it comes to attacking perceived enemies of Raila Odinga. And by doing so, it endeared him to the masses, the things that make Kenyans happy. But it endeared him to the masses, the ODM masses, who saw him as one of their future leaders. In fact, there were people who were saying that after Raila Odinga, Babu Owino was the person to take over. Ndindi Nyoro, on the other hand, Ndindi Nyoro similarly became very popular in Mount Kenya by being one of the harshest critics of Raila Odinga. He would not spare anything when it came to attacking Raila Odinga in Mount Kenya. Another thing they share in common is that even though they are young, they are businessmen. Ndindi Nyoro is is into stocks. Babu Owino is into maybe real estate and other businesses. Let's just say the two of them are not struggling financially. And so they have a lot in common. They're young, they do business, they joined politics at the same, they got elected at the same time in 2017. They're serving their second terms. They have been very good friends of late. And above all, they have rebelled with their parties. So while Ndindi Nyoro has not been very confrontational with William Ruto or openly disobey him, but apart from that, refusing to vote, actually he didn't vote to save Rigathi, he just stayed away. Apart from that instance, Ndindi Nyoro has been quite a loyalist of William Ruto. And there is a reason behind that. According to William Ruto, the agreement they had with Rigathi was simple. We serve with you for 2 terms. In the meantime, we will mentor the likes of Ndindi Nyoro to take over from us come 2032. Of course, when Rigathi got into power, he went against that agreement, started seeing Ruto as his equal, started fighting, and started behaving as if he even wanted to vie in 2017. Ndindi Nyoro, on the other hand, has been very loyal, been very supportive of the president and his cause, apart from, like I said, when he wanted to have his cake and eat it. He didn't want to annoy the people of Mount Kenya, but he also didn't want to annoy Ruto, so he stayed neutral. As for Babu Owino, he is not neutral. He has taken Raila head on. In fact, when Raila Odinga said that he preferred dialogue, Babu Owino called a press conference and declared himself the opposition leader, but went ahead and said that he was supporting the violent demonstrations that had been going on. When Raila Odinga said that they were now for broad-based government, Babu Owino has made it clear several times that he will never support that. There is no way he's going to support the broad-based government. So you have two leaders who share a lot in common. And they have been very good friends of late, very close. I dare say too close. And Babu Owino the other day was saying that he is thinking of going for the presidency in 2027. And he said that his running mate was Ndindi Nyoro. Do I think it is a viable candidature? Or is a viable ticket? The simple answer is no. Because first of all, I don't think Babu Owino is vying for presidency anytime soon. He is smart enough to know that he will not win anything. He should learn from the likes of Malema. I think Babu Owino is saying this so that he ups his bargaining power. I have told you here that there is something Kenyan politicians are good at. Aiming higher so that you can be talked to. For instance, so that you can be persuaded for a lower seat. For instance, let's say you just want to be an MCA. Then you say you are going for MP. And you make it a big deal. You are going for the MP. So the party or the powers that be will call you and will be like, no, no, no. Just go for the MCA seat. We will support you there. But then the MCA is what you wanted. I'm persuaded that Babu Owino does not even want the governor of Nairobi, let alone presidency. He just wants maybe to go for a third term at Embakasi East. But to ensure that you have a bargaining power, he is threatening to vie for the presidency or threatening to vie for governor so that he can be talked out of it with deals. Be told, leave the governorship for so and so. You have free ticket to run for Embakasi East. I think that is what he's doing. But let's say I'm wrong and the gentleman is serious that they are going to run for presidency come 2027. How is that viable? Still, they won't make a dent. Why? Babu Owino has no base, and so is Ndindi Nyoro. In Kenya, if you are going for the presidency, unless you are just going for the sake of it, like the Wajakoyas and Martha Karuas and the Okurokots of this world, if you are going to with the aim of winning, you need a base, a region, so to say, behind you. And so, which is this base that is behind Babu Owino? If you are talking of young people, I have told you here that young people would support you online and they will cheer you on the street and everywhere. But on the voting day, they will let you down. Ask Malema. Ask Bobby Wine, his friend. The young people will cheer you, but they will not help you win elections. Why? Because according to the register of voters, young people are less than 35%. That is less than a third of the registered voters. So they are not the majority. They don't have serious sway. That is why even though they will be very noisy, even though they are active, they can run behind you and make you look popular, on the voting day, some of them will not even come out. Babu Owino, having vied twice, know this fact. And so I don't think he's going to go into the race with the hope that some imaginary Gen Z bloc is behind him. If it is a matter of going with the Luo community behind him, he lost that. Like I told you, Babu was the rising star in ODM. Many people that I talk to would tell you that Babu Owino is the next kingpin after Raila Odinga. But then, see, these people are loyal to Raila Odinga more than they are loyal to Babu Owino. So there are people who even would love to support Babu Owino, but their loyalty is to Raila first. And when Babu Owino openly and blatantly disobeys Raila Odinga, who Luos believe must be obeyed, then you lose them. I have even seen people who are praising Babu Owino turn into his critics and calling him names. They're like, this kid is not mannered and etc. So if he's looking to go into this race with Luo as his base, that is not possible. That will not work for him. What about Ndindi Nyoro? Ndindi Nyoro, like I told you, was the rising star in UDA. Now that Ndindi Nyoro decided to stay neutral, he doesn't have the support of the UDA as a party. But also there is a twist here. UDA had UDA controlled two regions, Mount Kenya and the Rift Valley. Rift Valley is still intact, so that would be a big support if Ndindi Nyoro was the rising star in UDA still. But he is not, because remaining neutral in politics is not forgiven. In politics, they don't forgive you when you go neutral. You must make a stance and live with the consequences of your decision. So he has only to depend on Mount Kenya. Unfortunately for him, Mount Kenya is under the control of Rigathi, and Uhuru Kenyatta is also fighting to have a chunk out of it. Rigathi Gachagua cannot elevate Ndindi Nyoro now, because if he does, he is forgotten in the next few weeks. So Rigathi Gachagua wants to control Mount Kenya so that even though he can't vie, he can still have this last say. He wants to be a kingmaker. And he can only be a kingmaker when there are no opponents. So Rigathi, if Ndindi Nyoro were to try to fight over Mount Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua will go after him with everything he has. And the people of Mount Kenya are also not so anti-Ndindi Nyoro, but they also feel that when it mattered the most and Ndindi Nyoro was supposed to voice or show his support for their son, he decided to stay neutral. Like I said, Ndindi Nyoro decided to have his cake and eat it, making sure he does not annoy the mountain, but also he does not betray William Ruto. And so he decided to stay neutral. And like I said, being neutral in politics is not forgivable. So the people of Mountain might not be very kind with him should he decide to seek for their support. The only thing that is viable for Ndindi Nyoro now is to toe the line of Rigathi Gachagua and get re-elected a third time as the MP for Kiaru. After all, he is one of the best performing MPs. And that is something they also share with Babu Owino. Babu Owino is also doing great job. So whether he's arrogant or what, in terms of serving the people, I have talked to the people of Embakasi East. I've met several people from Embakasi East. I've engaged them. Wherever their political persuasion, they like Babu Owino. They are saying this guy is looking after our interest. So that is why I was saying, if you asked me, Babu Owino and Ndindi Nyoro might just be trying to aim higher so that they are told, we will give you your seat. It's just a matter of you aim higher so that you are talked out of it with a sweet deal. Okay? like, just go for the MP. We will support you. Let the governor alone. Let this governor go for a second term. Let's say Ndindi Nyoro decides to go for governor of Muranga. He will be told, just go for Kiaru. So most of the time, these people just say, Maya, they don't have a base. Just say, Maya. What I'm telling you is, for you to launch a serious presidential candidature, you need a base. And Ndindi Nyoro and Babu Owino don't have that base. Whatever they have belongs to somebody else. Okay? Whatever they want to rely on belongs to somebody else. If Babu Owino wants to rely on Luos as his base, that belongs to Raila Odinga, whom he has disobeyed. And so Luos may not be very keen on backing Babu Owino. I'm not saying he will not get some votes. Every person gets votes. Even if I vied today, I would get some votes, but not significant enough to make sense. Okay? But not significant enough votes to make sense. If you get 70,000 or 100,000 votes, that is nothing in the presidential race. And so it's okay. They can try. Maybe if they do it now and then they try another time in 2032, you never know. But as of now, the race will be between William Ruto, who is defending his seat, and likely Kalonzo Musyoka, backed by Mount Kenya. Those would be, in my opinion, the front runners. I'm not saying the likes of Matiang'i and others won't vie. I think those are plans. Like Matiang'i vie, you will take some votes that would have gone to Ruto, things like that. Those are plans that we even saw last time. But then you may be asking, why are you dismissive of young people? I want to tell you, I would really love to see young people taking over the leadership of this country. Actually, I am one person who believes that, especially if these young people come from humble background, chances of them delivering for the people are usually very high. Just look at the young MPs. You will find that however mischievous or whatever it is in terms of character they are, these people, most of the time, you will find them really delivering. Even the Joker Salasia, if you go back to where he represents, you will find that he's really doing a lot for the people there. And so young people have the ability to deliver, and of course, the exposure they have, they see things differently, and I support their candidature. But I'm also a realist, so I do not just support you for the sake of appearing to support young people. I also have the responsibility to tell you the truth that, based on the reality on the ground, you don't have it. You cannot make it. You can make it here, but you can't make it here. They can't, Babu Owino and Ndindi Nyoro can't make it at the presidency now, as of now. Maybe in 2032, these people will be, the politics of this country will be so different. The likes of Babu Owino and Ndindi Nyoro will be maybe the front runners. But in 2027, they don't appear. Even if they were to vie, perhaps we will call it an introduction, but not serious contender. That is like Omutata, Matiang'i. The race is between William Ruto, who is defending his seat, and Kalonzo Musyoka, supported by the Rigathi Gachagua. And that is what the race is. As for Babu Owino, I think it's just aiming higher so that ODM does not give the ticket to somebody else. You see, if he threatens that he's going for presidency or that he's going for the governorship, and ODM perhaps wants to support Sakaja, for instance, or they have somebody else they want to give the ticket, what Babu is doing, like I've told you, is just a skill in bargaining. You ask for something that you can't get so that you get what you actually need. He wants maybe to go for a third term. He's not sure that his actions are going to guarantee him the ticket. And so he throws tantrums. Maybe he's told, okay, the governorship, let it for Sakaja, we will give you the ticket. I think that's what he's doing. Because also without ODM ticket, it's very difficult. Without a ticket from a major party, it's very difficult. Ndindi Nyoro, on the other hand, is a little bit comfortable because the people of Kiharu, of course, like him, but also is not at loggerheads with, let's say, Rigathi or anybody who is going to maybe have a say in Mount Kenya. He is safe to go for a third term. And he has also not expressed interest in vying, but Babu mentioned him. That is why we brought him in. And of late, they have been close, and so people have been saying, this is the dynamic duo, look at these people. So for the future, fine. And they can really do a lot. For the future, fine. Because Ndindi Nyoro and Babu Owino are some... I might not agree with Babu Owino in his mannerism or how he handles things, but in terms of delivery, the guy has an ability to really do well for the country. But in terms of reality of being elected, because he doesn't have a political base, I don't see Babu Owino even having a fighting chance as a presidential candidate come 2027. If you agree with me that Babu Owino does not have a fighting chance, whether they are with Ndindi Nyoro, etc., as a president, let me know in the comment section. If you feel that, based on your calculation, Babu Owino has what it takes to be the president come 2027, also share that in the comment section. Let's engage. Otherwise, allow me to thank you for taking your time to watch this video. If you want to know what my advice for Babu Owino moving forward is, watch this video.